What is going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Pancakes and Power Slam show. Let's have a good time as always, y'all. You know how it is, man. We have a fantastic, fun-filled, fantastic job, fantastic time here every single week. And yeah, man. So it's been a crazy night for me. It's been a crazy night. A lot of unexpected things that happened tonight. But you know what, man? We got to keep it moving. So I was doing some research as always during a certain time frame from my class that I was going to have today. But I'll move it to next week, which is cool. I was like, you know what? Of course, we're going to have the Pancakes and Power Slam show as we do every single week. And so I was like, you know what, man? I haven't done a Q&A for a while. So let's do it. Let's do a Q&A. And already got some questions on Twitter. Got some questions here on the chat. So we're going to have a great time and we're going to do some Q&A. So be sure to hashtag AskDoc, hashtag AskDoc. And yeah, let's go. As always, we're going to have a great time, man. So I'm going to open up for y'all, man. Have a great time. Non-spoiler Q&A. Anything psychology, anything on my views or my opinions on things. Yeah, man, I'm not really doing the spoilers. Not really doing the spoilers anymore, man. It's too much. Too much for my time. Too much. Too much for my time. Watching stuff, making sure that it's, you know, all the other spoilers I leaked. It was fun seeing it happen, but I was like, man, you know what? This is too stressful making sure that it happened. And guess what? One of them. Whoa. One of them didn't happen. And yeah. And and that sucked. And but hey, man, onward and upward, moving on. And that's a part of the job, man. It's a part of the job. You don't bat 1,000. And so, yeah, man, let's talk about some wrestling. Hey, ask questions, man. Whatever you got. Just like I always say, I don't do. I get a lot of stuff, and if I'm gonna be honest, if I receive the information, I'll say it. If I don't know it, I don't know it. There's nothing that I ever reported that I just made up. Everything that I reported ever has been given from reliable sources. Not all the sources were correct, of course, but of course, because I'm super big on journalistic integrity. Yeah, man, I got a whole reputation. Pro wrestling, like, I have 4 jobs a week. I'm a doctor, I'm a therapist by day, I'm a college professor throughout the week, by evening typically. I also have 6 shows a week, and I inside report. I'm contracted to report a certain amount of scoops a week, but none of them ever. They're just things that are just made up, because I got way too much on the line. Out of all the things that I listed, inside reporting, although good money, is the least amount of money that I make out of all the 4 jobs. All the other jobs that I make are really good money, but it could be crazy. Lena, I was just talking to somebody about this week. Out of the 4 jobs that I have throughout the week, and got some other things coming up the pike this year too, as far as business ventures. So I have a very busy schedule, man. Super busy schedule. Out of all the things that I do throughout the week, inside reporting is probably the most time consuming. It's fun, it's exciting, but at the same time, the return on the energy that I spend doesn't really match the energy that I put into it. I put in a lot of work in getting information, retrieving information, receiving information, verifying information. I received some information today that I had to verify and talk and phone and text, and I'm like, man, look, I got to be sure about this. And so, and it's been on Feather Bombs. It's the information I was given this evening. But yeah, man, it just takes too much of my time, and it's exciting, it's fun, it is a thrill, but at the same time, man, like this wave of reporting that happened, that gave me like over 5,000 followers on Twitter, and wrestlers, letting me know that they've heard of me and know about me now. I'm like, oh, like I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't know, I should say. And that's cool, man. It's fun. It's exciting. And I'm like, honestly, I can say whatever I can say. This is my show. I can say, honestly, man, I'd rather be known for the psychology part, you know what I mean? But when it comes to pro wrestling and pro wrestling reporting and just how pro wrestling is. It's just like the thrill of pro wrestling generates the followers and everything involved with that. So I mean, it comes with the territory, man. I'm well aware of that. So, it's all good, man. It's all fun. And so, what I'll do, I take great integrity in everything that I do, and that's why I said I'll tighten up my sources, which I did. The Jey Uso report was from a very, very reliable line of sources, and yeah, man. So it's fun. It's exciting. It is very time consuming. Trying to be sure that I just don't receive information and just report it. I always double, triple, even times quadruple check stuff. And so, yeah, man, it takes a lot of my time. You know what I mean? And I'll receive something, and I'm a therapist by day, so I spend like lunch times and break times and things like that, really focusing on that reporting. But I get locked in. We're talking about pro wrestling reporting versus a psychology doctor, a therapist, literally dealing with real life issues, dealing with people who struggle with homicidality, suicidality, all types of diagnoses. That's my passion, man. That's the real life to me. Pro wrestling is fantasy in many ways, man. And so I enjoy the audience. I enjoy the fun, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. That's all a part of the journey, and that's all fun, man. But when it comes to real life, man, I love being a therapist. I love being in the psychology field. I love being a college professor. It's so fun. It's so exciting. I'm so happy that I'm involved in literally grading people's dissertations and being that last step to someone, and many people, I have many students becoming a doctor. That means a lot to me. I'm so blessed and fortunate because of that, and that's real life to me, man. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you me today in this Q&A session. We just kind of lounging and being and just being free and just chilling, man. This is me, and I love what I do. The reporting stuff is fun. It's time consuming, but when it comes to real life stuff, you know, I'm a therapist, man. I love really being an integral part in someone's mental health. That fires me up, man. That lights me up so much that wrestling reporting can't even light a candle on that, man, because that's real stuff to me. That's stuff that it lights me up and that I love to do, and so I'm blessed to do. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, y'all got some questions for me, don't you? You got some questions for me, don't you? Don't you? So let's do it, man. Let's do this. Let's start off with there's some great questions, man. That's hashtag Ask Doc. You see it right there. Hashtag Ask Doc. That's what's going to cause it to be on the screen. By the way, y'all. By the way, I've noticed the uptick on my YouTube page. So I think we're like uh 88 people away from 1,000 subs on my YouTube page. Come on now. Come on now. That's great. Let's go. Let's go. So if you haven't subbed on YouTube yet, let's do this. Let's do this. We're almost there, y'all. We're almost there. So I also posed some questions on Twitter X. And so I haven't read them. So let's pull them up. Let's see how the IWC asked me questions. How they let's see what they asked me, and let's see uh, how much they can keep themselves together. So let's find this out. I'm going to bring it up. Let's see here. Let's see here. People, all right, I got some good questions over here, man. Yeah, I got some good questions on here, so it's going to be fun. All right, so let me bring up the Twitter stuff first, and then we'll get to the fun, excited. Y'all got some good questions on it. I'm excited to answer y'all's questions here on the show here on the chat. So let's find out, man. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Let's share this screen and let us see what we got here. All right. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Here we go, y'all. Come on, y'all. I'm gonna hope that y'all are adults. You ask questions and you show the fact that you can be emotionally stable. Twitter is a wild bunch. So let's have some fun and see where we're at, man. All right, here we go. So, with that being said, let's do this. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. Yeah, let's do that. All right. First question. Tim is asking, do you think Cena let me put this up for a little bit more. Let's see. All right. Let us increase this here. Let us increase. Okay, y'all can see this, right? There we go. There we go. That's better. All right. Do you think Cena turns back babyface before the end of the year to end his career on a good note with fans? I do. I do think John Cena is going to turn back babyface. And you know, somehow I've talked about that before on my show. I do think that there is going to be a somehow John Cena is going to turn babyface again, and so whatever that looks like, I've mapped out some theories as far as what that looks like. But I do think we're going to get. I do think that we're going to get that soon. All right. Do I know when Ilya Dragunov will be back? I do not. I do not. I have not heard anything about that. I haven't even asked around. Neither have I received any information about Ilya Dragunov. That is interesting though, so I'll figure it out and I'll report if I find anything out. If anybody else reports before I do, good on them. Good on them. Rob, the Drew McIntyre was on podcast saying something big coming with The Rock if he joins his side. How could this happen? Maybe help Cena win. That happens. Could Rock double cross Cena later in year? Give McIntyre a title shot and Drew becomes champion. Yeah, I mean, I said this before, man. I think Drew McIntyre should have been the one leading the corporate revolution with The Rock. Anyways, I do think Drew should have been the one doing that. Honestly, it's the Cena thing doesn't make sense to me. I've said it before, man. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm very consistent in what I say and what I mean, and I mean what I say, and I say what I mean, and I still feel the same way. I mean, I don't. He's a pro. He's a pro. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to grab the audience by the what would Vince call them? The genetic juggernauts, the so whatever you would call them. He knows how to grab them by the gonads, by the balls, if you will, and he does that, and he's really good at it, man. He's good. Cena he's great. He's a pro. He knows what he's doing. What he's been handed is difficult to navigate because it just doesn't make sense logically. Still haven't heard anything about Cena. I mean, how about Rock? Still haven't mentioned The Rock in 2 weeks. He sided with The Rock, made one of the most, shocking heel turns in pro wrestling history. Side with The Rock, but don't mention him in two long promos for 2 straight weeks. And he's going to be in London next week, too. We'll see how that goes. I mean, it makes sense by Drew being the guy, because Drew's been cooking all year last year. And then all of a sudden, he goes and he just doesn't, um, he just has some random feud that hasn't led to much and won't lead to much. It's a WrestleMania feud that it's a nothing feud. Nisha, do I think WWE is dropping the ball on the women's IC title? What do you think they could do to put more light on it? I think that's a good question. So I've mentioned this on the Legion of Raw show. I do think that Ivy Nile should have won the Intercontinental Championship. I think she should have won the title because it would have made sense. It would have brought some type of storyline. It just makes sense that the babyface is chasing the championship, leading into at least chasing championships. I mean, Cody's champion now, and he's against all odds. Jay's the babyface and chasing the championship. It just doesn't make sense to me that someone like a Lyra Valkyria that they're trying to make feel big and important, she hasn't felt big or important. And I think that Ivy Nile, who was getting some really good heat, with the American Alpha or the American Made, it doesn't make sense for someone like Ivy Nile and the Creed brothers, three legit shooters. All three of them have horrible win-loss records and lose multiple times in championship matches. That doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. I think that what you do is you could have easily made had Chad Gable go away. You could have had Ivy Nile as a women's IC champ. You could have had the Creed brothers as tag team champs, and that would have made American Made a viable, legit faction. Otherwise, they're just another faction that don't mean nothing. They're basically a jobber faction at this point with their win-loss record. And Ivy Nile and the Creed brothers being a jobber faction in anywhere, in any person, in any other world would make absolutely no sense. But in this world, though, and in the world of WWE, makes it's logic. It actually happens, and it just, I think they're dropping the ball with the American Made. They all four of them, Chad Gable too. They look like stars. I mean, they look like Olympic level stars. And man, I would go all out, man. I would do B-roll. See, again, psychology, man. I would get super creative. I would do B-roll footages with Kurt Angle, wanting to get Kurt Angle's endorsement, even having Kurt Angle, basically mocking Kurt Angle, coming out with his music. Like, I would do all of that, man. And you could have easily had Kurt Angle bring in, some people that would have really worked as far as going against American Made for WrestleMania. I mean, Kurt Angle would have had a presence at WrestleMania, bringing in people, to go against the American Made stable. And even if you want to have Lyra Valkyria come back and have an opportunity chasing the title league going into the WrestleMania, it just makes sense because she's the babyface. That's how that's what that would have worked as far as creatively, in my opinion. BD, what's your opinion on John Cena's current run as a heel so far? Again, man, he's a pro. He's a pro. He's good at what he does, man. But at the same time, it's like he's doing the best at what's being handed to him. And I think the problem with that is that The biggest issue with what's going on now is that we don't know why Cena's a heel. We have no clue why he's a heel. We're lost. We're completely lost of what's going on. Why are you heel? Because the people don't like you. So what? I mean, you have a one-way ticket to main eventing WrestleMania. You won the Elimination Chamber. So you are main eventing against Cody Rhodes. Why does anything else matter? Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. You have a one-way ticket to main eventing WrestleMania. Why do you care about what the fans think about you? And these same fans that you're talking about don't like you for years. After the whole "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," that was the thing for a while because he was Super Cena. When Super Cena cooled down and he became Hollywood, that actually worked for him because absence made the heart grow fonder when it came to the WWE universe. And for at least 5 years, most of the people, virtually every person, was cheering John Cena. And so the logic ain't logicking because the first end of Cena's reign and the last end of Cena's babyface reign, fans loved him. They love Cena. And so, yeah, it makes no sense to me whatsoever, man. What is Liv Morgan doing at WrestleMania? I can imagine a tag team title feud going on now. Who are they going to feud with? That's another story. Who's out there? What women's tag teams out there that would make sense? Again, we're a few weeks. we're what, 2.5 weeks away from WrestleMania. So, I mean, what are we doing at this point, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't think it really matters. Put them in a women's tag team championship feud, but then you have Raquel Rodriguez losing to Lyra Valkyria, who's just randomly beating heels. I mean, again, they're just bring substance to these Raws and SmackDowns leading into WrestleMania. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. When is Malachi Black return? When I haven't received anything as far as specifics when Malachi Black's going to return. I can definitely see him returning earlier. I was actually going to get some information about that, and I've been so busy today. So stay tuned on that, man. I'm gonna find out. I don't know if this counts as a spoiler, but who will be back? The biggest stars left off Mania this year. Yeah, that would be a spoiler. From what I know, and this could be different. This could be different. From what I know, there's not been, some big, person who's been left off that's going to be coming back, to add that extra oomph. So who's out there? who's even out there? Ryan, do I think WWE has long-term plans for this Wide Six, and do you think Alexa's involvement with them is for a short-term or long time? They've had plans. I mean, it's been almost a year since, 9 months, right? 9 months since the Wide Six debut, and after weeks and weeks and weeks of vignettes. Yes, they had an injury recently, but I mean, what really does that matter if you have everybody else in the Wide Six? And if Bo's gone, Alexa definitely can step in and take the lead. So I mean, they're teasing Alexa Bliss to get there. I heard that they're taking her off more to integrate her more into the Wide Six. Which is one of the reasons why she isn't as utilized as much as she was when she came back. So, I mean, what did I do with them? We shall see, man. We shall see. I mean, They can't get any retribution to the what was the Final Testament because most of them, well 3/5 of them are gone, unfortunately. Why does Michael Cole always inflate the attendance number at Raw by a few thousand more than reported, or is this his number the right one? I mean, WWE's always done that, man. I mean, it just makes them look better padding numbers like that. I mean, I think they talked about 93,000 for WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome. And so, yeah, I mean, it just pads those numbers, man. It just makes them look big. It just makes it's that it fits with that larger than life, you know, big picture type of mindset that they have, and so they've been doing that for decades, padding numbers. All right, I think that is it for the questions on Twitter. Now let's get to the questions. I don't know. I might have some people tag. I got some notifications I haven't checked yet, so people might have been tagging me on my page, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna check this thread. So, all right, y'all. Let's do the let's do the live audience here. So, with that being said, it is now time for the question cast. Twitter, appreciate your involvement, man. That was some good questions, very very good questions. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it with my peeps, with my P&P peeps. Axe Doc is the way to go, as you see right there. Go ahead and I'll put it on the screen, man. Let's do it. Lots of good questions here. Let's see here. Always the People's Wrestling Channel to start us off. Your thoughts on the Moxley spike spot? That's a good question. I thought it was very dangerous. It could have paralyzed him, and the nails look dirty. Why would anyone agree to this? Who's the audience for this? I mean, I think you're spot on in every way here, man. I think the audience is his own personal mind and his insatiable crave for dopamine, and that's not just the John Moxley thing. That is many people in the pro wrestling industry thing. They just they're addicts for dopamine, man, and they look for it's called the Coolidge effect. Y'all should study that. Mental note for class for next time. Mental note for class. Okay. Yep, we'll talk about dopamine kicks and things like that. But when it comes to those types of things, they plateau, man. So when they plateau, they go to another level, and yeah, man, it just gets dangerous and dangerous. The spike spot meant nothing. If anything, storyline wise, it should have meant Edge is going to the nth degree. If you want to psychologically make this make sense, you should have had Edge do that spot. I don't think the spot was necessary. Let's make that very clear. It wasn't necessary at all. But if the spot was discussed and they were like, okay, let's do it, I think it should have been Edge does that because he's willing to go through anything and is willing to do the most vile thing to get that AEW World Championship. What made this spot even more pointless is that John Moxley won the match. He won the match. So the spot meant nothing. It's just Wheeler Yuta trying to take the spikes off of his back. He won the match. That makes Edge look worse because he couldn't even beat John Moxley after suplexing him on a spiked 2x4. So it didn't look good, man. It didn't look good. Why is this year's road to WrestleMania very meh? I mean, I think the Rock's involvement being sketchy, being in and out, I just think that it's affected the planning process, man. They don't have a really big marquee match to do a feud with. I mean, John Cena won the Elimination Chamber, but again, don't understand why he doesn't like Cody Rhodes. I mean, it makes absolutely zero sense to me. John Cena's John Cena's biggest angle right now is against the fans. He turned on Cody because he didn't like the fans. Huh? He didn't need to turn. He didn't need to turn on Cody. He already had a spot at WrestleMania. Why are you turning on? What does Cody Rhodes have to do with it? Let's see here. I joined the podcast as a co-host. I hope to become like you and do 6 shows a week. Man, I am 100% in support of you and your endeavors, man. I hope you continue to grow, man. Continue to, uh, you know, research, continue to think of stuff that's innovative, man. Continue on with that. Do something that's innovative from a business standpoint. What's the gap? What's the gap, man? What is something that someone's not doing? There's not any, from what I know, psychology doctors that do wrestling gigs, as a part of their income. And so, hey, man, I love psychology. I teach psychology. Why don't I just use my skill set and implementing it to PMP, man? So beforehand, I became very known in other channels. Before going fully on my own, I boosted a bunch of other wrestling channels, and I would be on their YouTube, boosting their numbers on their YouTube and Facebook. And so, yeah, man, I was like, man, what? I'm just gonna go alone and bet on myself, man. So, it's on Twitter blew up, and continuing to almost there with YouTube, work on the YouTube page. I mean, Facebook has been consistent. So, yeah, man. I mean, continuing to learn and grow. I mean, I'm still learning and growing myself, and I've been doing this for. Wait a minute, we got an anniversary coming up next week, don't we? Oh my gosh, y'all. What? I just time just be flying. My schedule's crazy. Okay, I think we'll do the anniversary show in 2 weeks then. I'll find out I'll make some contacts and see who can come on. Okay. All right. Yeah. Anniversary show, y'all. Anniversary show. And it'll be 13 years. 13 years I've been doing the show. Wow. 13-year anniversary next week. That's crazy. Yeah, we'll do the anniversary show in a couple weeks. Thanks for reminding me. People's Wrestling Channel. Will you be watching Stephanie's Places? No, I won't. That would make it 9 wrestling shows a week. I will be watching Raw, NXT, Speed, Evolve, LFG, Rivals, Greatest Moments, and Stephanie's Places. Good for you, man. I do not have the time of the week at all to be watching anything but Raw. I mean, that's the only thing that I watch. I keep my finger on the pulse when it comes to SmackDown. I watch like SmackDown highlights when it comes to like stuff on socials so I know enough, to make some type of references, but Raw is the only weekly show that I watch from start to finish. I just don't have the time, man. My schedule is crazy. And yeah, I mean, I get paid to watch Raw, so I'll watch it. Robert, thank you so much for your support, man. What's up? Ab is in the building. Christopher, hey, doctor. Hope you're having a blessed day. I hope you are too, Christopher. Would you love the concept of Gunther annihilating Jimmy next week on Raw to give some intrigue, or how would you put Gunther against Jimmy? I think that Gunther should annihilate Jimmy Uso. I do. I think that Jimmy's spot at WrestleMania should be to run out and so this is what you could do. This is what you could do, man. And this would be interesting. I'll be interested in this. And this is, after WrestleMania, you're starting your spring to summer kind of lull period. Like usually you're like from May to like that May, June, July quarter is not as it's kind of a reset, you know what I mean, in many ways. So this is actually something now to be interested in. I would be interested in Jay Jay Uso, Gunther and Lion Lights, Jimmy. Um, Jimmy basically comes out on the in the World Championship match. Because this is something now to be very interested in. I think that you should have Ludwig Kaiser come out to help Gunther. Um, and it seems like Kaiser's coming out to help Gunther retain the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. People boo. Ludwig Kaiser runs out. Fan bump, referee bump. Kaiser comes out, runs to the ring, puts Jay in his finisher, and then 1-2 kick out of Gunther. Ref is still down, recovering from the bump. Then you have Jimmy come out, and you have Jimmy not only take out Kaiser, but you also have him super kick Gunther. And then you have Jay climb up the ropes. The fans are going bananas. And Jay does the splash 1, 2, 3. Boom. Jimmy's already out there. There's Jimmy's spot and helping him, and being of assistance, of being there with him as he wins his first World Heavyweight Championship. All right, cool. Now you have a promo with the Usos celebrating each other. And he was like, and you can easily say, we'll have Jimmy Uso, yeah, man, because, this is my little brother, man. I love that he did that. I love the fact that if it wasn't for me, and then stops, then you have Jay like, hold on, what was that? What were you about to say? That caused some dissension within the Usos. You don't have to have some Jimmy full turn, whatever. You're like, all right, bro. Like, I wasn't. No, never mind. Forget it. And Jay could be like, no, what were you about to say? What were you about to say? I mean, I did have a little bit of something there, so I do think I should have some type of possible championship match, against you, because I did make some type of contribution to help you win the championship. Jay could easily say, you know what? I love you, brother. I didn't need your help, one. But two, if you wanted a championship match, all you had to do was ask. And so there you go, man. And so you could easily have Jimmy versus Jay. Don't have to have some stupid, just contrived heel turn that's really going to not make much of anything. Just brother versus brother out of respect. Run it back, man. That match at WrestleMania was very, very underwhelming. People were disappointed. Run it back, man. Have that be a match for Backlash or Money in the Bank. Jay versus Jimmy for the World Heavyweight Championship, man. That would be a banger of a match. They would have more time. It wouldn't be some ridiculous story that was bad leading into Mania last year. It's just one of those brother versus brother out of respect type of things, type of angles. Hey, man, like, if you wanted a match, just say it, man. I didn't need your help. There's some dissension there, but there's still some levels of respect, because one thing you could do is you could have the Usos versus Gunther and Kaiser at either a Raw, or you can have that match at be a feature at a Backlash or something like that, and then you eventually could have Jay versus Jimmy. You know what I mean? And so then you can easily have there's so many ways that you can do it. But yeah, man, have Jay and Jimmy, have the Usos beat Gunther and Kaiser. Of course, unfortunately, Kaiser is the one who takes the fall there, but you can have the Usos win there, celebrate with each other, still have that kind of brotherly tension in this in a minute in a sense, but still are able to get together and band together, and you can just have a banger of a world championship match, man. Absolutely. Uh let's see here. Chris again. Christopher Rock disappearing after EC probably won't see him until Mania. I hope we see him before then. I mean, it just doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. It's awkward. As you say right here, so awkward. Absolutely. Michael Pestilano's in the building. What do you think winning? Who do you see winning the Cody Cena match if Austin comes back to help Cody? I can't see him losing, but on the other side, I don't see Cena losing his first heel match. Austin could come back, man, but I don't see it, man. I don't see it. There's a part of me, and I don't know this, but there's a part of me, man. I'm gonna be honest. There is a part of me that believes that this is just to make Cody look good. I'm telling you, man. I think that Cody's receiving the Hogan treatment. I think he's receiving the Hogan treatment. I think it's just another opportunity to make Cody a super babyface, just like they did Hogan. I can see it happening, man. That's just on me. That's just me. That's just me. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Cena wins, but there's a strong part of me, man, that feels like they're just doing this to make Cody the super baby face like Hogan. Let's see here. Taker's birthday was yesterday. Your favorite Taker memory? Oh, that's a good question. Favorite Taker memory. I would say the one that stands out to me the most was SummerSlam 94. And people didn't really like this angle, but I liked it, man. The whole Leslie Nielsen Naked Gun style, the Undertaker gets buried and he ascends to the heavens. I will not rest in peace. And he goes up. I heard Marty Jannetty actually was the person who was the doppelganger who actually went up and ascended, in that during that Royal Rumble spot, I believe, when he got gang attacked and got and went up into the casket. And so, yeah, 94, and then you had the fake Undertaker who was actually primetime Brian Lee, was managed by Ted DiBiase, had the fake Undertaker, and so for months, man, you had that. Then you had the sleuth, Leslie Nielsen as the sleuth, and he was on assignment and he's looking for the real Undertaker, and all of a sudden you had Paul Bearer coming out, man, and you had a different theme song from the Undertaker, and he wore the black and purple instead of the black and gray. Now the fake Undertaker, or the Underfaker, he had the traditional black and gray, but the new variation of the Undertaker, he had the black and purple. Remember, watch that SummerSlam 94. And his theme song was different too. Instead of having the regular funeral music, he had a little bit more chords. And one of my favorite interviews, man, I've interviewed, I don't know, I'm at 20-some WWE Hall of Famers, over 400 wrestlers. And one of my favorite interviews ever was Jim Johnston. I'm a sucker for old school theme songs. And I contacted Jim Johnston, and I was like, man, you got to do it in studio. And he was in the studio, man. He was around his instruments, and he was breaking down the rhyme and reason, kind of like the brainstorming, the think tank, at the time of how he just created the theme songs. And he was talking about the Undertaker's theme song, and he started playing on his piano, which was really, really cool, man. And one of my favorite interviews I've ever had. It was great. And I really loved that SummerSlam 94 moment with the Undertaker. Glendale Americano looked awfully familiar. I can't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, man. it's talking about sleuth, man. We gotta be on assignment to figure out who that is. Uh, David, where's the star faker Ken Bolentine? He said he was going to be on your show. Yeah, he was actually on my premium. Well, the star maker. I like Ken Bolin. I have zero issues with Kenny Bolin. Actually, me and him get along very well. Yeah, so he was on my previous show right before the show, the unscripted. Him and of course my normal co-host Bill Atta. All three of us, we had a great conversation. People's Wrestling Channel. Who wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal this year? Is it you? Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go. Let's go. It's me. It's going to be me. Sure. I'll be a part of it. I have no idea what that means. Lunch man. I have our boss man. I don't know what that means. All right. Let's see. How do I meet Russo region heat? That's a good question. I just reached out one day and I had connections. And somehow I reached out to Vince because it was the era that I was just interviewing everybody. I had weekly interviews, and I was just every week I had an interview, and I was just contacting people, and I said, I'd love to interview Vince Russo. And so yeah, he responded. We interviewed, and then unfortunately Road Warrior Animal passed away, sadly, and I was looking for a replacement for my Legion of Raw show, and Vince Russo was someone I thought of, and yeah, he accepted the offer, and we've been really good friends for over 4 years now. Yeah. More than that. More than that. Yeah, it's 5. It's been almost 5. Yeah, because I think he started like around the summer of 2020. No. Yeah, around the summer of 20. Around this. Yeah. I think it was around the summer 20, because Road Warrior Animal passed away in 2020, right? Or it had to be. Let me see. 2020, right? Yeah, September. Yeah, the end of summer, beginning of fall 2020. Yeah. So that's when he passed away, unfortunately. So Vince Russo and I's first show was late 2020. So this will be 5 years this year. So yeah. Man. He was on Unscripted beforehand, and then he was on my show, and he was on Unscripted too. And so yeah, man. Yeah. Why can't we send super chats? Because but I don't have 1,000 subs yet. But I will when y'all sub. So I don't need your super chats. I'm a rich doctor. Well, thank you. That's I'm blessed to that's correct. But at the same time, hey man, I've got a family to feed, and I'm all about chasing that bag. You can never be too rich, especially if you love people and is charitable. So yeah, man, I'm all about. Look, hey man, my thing is, it is currently 12:42 a.m. right now, or close to it, in the Eastern time. And here's the thing: at the end of the day, with work comes pay. All right, so this is work to me. I do it for you. I'm building a brand, and it takes money, man. It takes money to enhanced and do all this stuff, man. And I appreciate your support. So hey, man, this is building an empire, man. Building an empire. Let's see. We got some good questions today. Wonderful questions. I hear Kane recently made a joke on Twitter that he has one more match left in him. But if he did really come back, who should it be against? I say Damian Priest would be perfect. I would say make him a baby face. Who would it be? Karrion Cross against Kane. There you go. That's my quote. That's my answer. Elvis. Elvis, am I a Browns fan? I am not a Browns fan. No, absolutely not. Oof. Yikes. That's going from the frying pan into the fire, dude. Like a Titans fan to a Browns fan. Oof. I don't drink, but if I did that, I must be highly drunk for sure. Do I think DDP would induct Luger? Do I think Lex will walk to the ring under his own power to deliver his speech? I don't know that. I hope he does. As far as DDP inducting Luger, I think Sting would be the better option, but with DDP helping Lex Luger tremendously right now, that would make sense as well. Seeing this promo about the spinner belt, I made less than 0 cents. People did love it, and that's why they kept it for so long, because they made lots of money from it. Yeah, I mean, that's a part of pro wrestling fandom, man. He's able to have his finger on the pulse and generate the ebbs and flows of the pro wrestling community. I mean, that's what happened. And he's able to, to your point, the spinner belt makes a lot. It made a lot of money. I couldn't stand it, but it made a lot of money for sure. James, the biggest problem with WWE is they always drop the ball, and they really did that with never booking Abyss in anything, even a one-off match. Imagine him as a member of Wyatt Six. That would be interesting if he was a member of Wyatt Six for sure. But he's doing his thing, producing. So his logic is, why do I need to be on television? Robert, Ivan now the Creed Brothers went from Diamond Mine and NXT being formidable tandem, being caught up to main roster, now being okay, good talent but bad book and so forth. I agree. I mean, unfortunately, man, there's been a lot of people who good talent but bad booking. I wouldn't say that Lyra Valkyria has had the best booking either. I mean, there's been a lot, unfortunately. We know Abyss works backstage, so why not? They already screwed us out of Taker versus Sting when Sting was there. Yeah, I mean, he's older now. You know what I mean? He's, I don't see any purpose of it. I mean, he's way away from wanting to do stuff. So he's, it's good on him, man. I'm very happy that he is producing. Have I seen how much they are charging? People's Wrestling Channel. Have I seen how much they're charging front seats with a photo at Podium and photo with Triple H, Luger, and Michelle at Hall of Fame? Also, same question for the dinner with Cena. I mean, here's the thing, man. Look, man. I think I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of it because at the end of the day, a lot of the pro wrestling community as a whole, if the demographic is 18 to 49, that's the demo that they're really trying to reach. That's the target demo when it comes to pro wrestling. How much of those people ranging from 18 to 49 make six figures or close to it? But I imagine the demo from 18 to 49, especially toward the people over 35, the second end of the back end of the 18 to 49 demographic, they have kids. They have kids who are 8, 10, 12, 14. They want to take their kids to these events. And if you're charging a buttload of money to someone who is middle class, 18 to 49 demographic, huh? Like that's interesting to me, very much so. Danimo says, I love the Legion Raw show. Look forward to that more than Raw. What's your favorite WrestleMania? Thank you, man. Greatly appreciate your support. Very much so. Very much so. My favorite WrestleMania is 17. I think 17 is the GOAT. Hands down, 17, the GOAT. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. What's the rock group that's My Way? Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit, right? Limp Bizkit, My Way. The setup, the promos to Austin Rock, everything. This time I'm gonna let it go. All out the production, the star power, everything. I mean, the build up to WrestleMania 17 and the WrestleMania, it just felt amazing. It felt big. It felt huge. It felt larger than life. 17 is absolutely the GOAT, man. 3's up there too. I liked 33 actually too. Taker Reigns, although Taker looked rough, but 33 was really good too. 33 is a really good Mania. The return of the Hardy. I was actually there in Orlando, and man, the return of the Hardys. I mean, that crowd was deafening. It was absolutely deafening when the Hardys came back. And it was great, man. It was a lot of fun going there because it's interesting because I was actually doing media at the ROH show just day before. It was the Sunday that the WrestleMania occurred, and I did media at the ROH event just a day before, and they were there, I believe. Supercard, they went against ladder match against the Young Bucks, I believe. So yeah, it was interesting. They went from ROH and they jumped right into being a special guest. The mystery tag team at WrestleMania 33. It was pretty cool, man. I really enjoyed 33. But 17 is the GOAT for sure. Let's see here. Do I see Jay's match at Mania not main eventing? And it's a triple threat match and said, I'll say don't do that to Jay. Triple threat match it's a nothing match. It doesn't mean anything. It's no stakes to it. I actually think that, and I was thinking about this before. I think that the triple threat match should be the opener of night one, and I think that they should put stakes into WrestleMania. I think that Punk, Reigns, Rollins should be the match for night one. And I think the winner of Punk, Rollins, Reigns should main event night two for the championship. That would be interesting to me. Because what you could do, see, this is interesting, man, to me, honestly. What you could do is, I talked about the Jay thing and him winning, but something else you could do would be interesting. You could have Reigns. It wouldn't matter Reigns or Rollins, but what you could do is you could have Reigns win the triple threat, and you can have Reigns and Jay at night two. And that would be really, really interesting if Jay wins night one and you can have Reigns and Jay night two for the world championship. And that would be a banger. Reigns versus Jay. Again, no need for heel turns. it would make sense. You would have full circle Jay versus Reigns at WrestleMania after the whole bloodline angle started. There's still some loose ends there. Reigns versus Jay at WrestleMania, that could be a banger of a match. And then what you could do is you could have another scenario with the Jay thing is you could have CM Punk come out at the very end, cash in his favor with Paul Heyman and is included in the match and wins the World Heavyweight Championship from Jey Uso and turns heel. So that would be that could be your big feud going into the summertime. It could be Jey Uso and CM Punk, and now Heyman is with CM Punk because that can open up Reigns going away for a while, and then you can have Jay versus Punk go at it at a big match, and then you can have Reigns come back and assist Jay beating CM Punk, and then that can open up Punk versus Reigns, in a big marquee match. And so I think that's what you could do, man. But make this triple threat worth something is my opinion. Did you did you the Netflix show Adolescent? Did I see it? Adolescent? No, I haven't seen it. It's a trending show due to its Zubair's asking this due to its spark issue of toxic masculinity. Of if that's even true, and the talks about incels. Any thoughts as a psychologist? There's a lot of studies over the past probably 15 years or so about incel culture and just the toxicity of incel culture. There's a lot of, man, that is really a great question that that could take an entire show as far as just the reasoning behind incels. And oftentimes incels are a result of feeling abandoned by women, a lot of incels, they were either bullied or they were talked about as an adolescent, or they were turned down quite a bit because they were too skinny, too fat. They weren't the jock, So what they do is it is a form. Oftentimes, it is a form of covert narcissism. And so a lot of incels, they become violent, as we saw with the situation with the incel, unfortunately running over running on the street, running the curb, the sidewalk, and killing those people. It gets really unfortunate, man, because they show a sign of narcissism, of more of a vulnerable, that the world owes me something because for so long I've been going through this. Nobody understands me. A middle finger to the world. No one likes me anyways. I've got all these rejections, and so many people's rejected me. All these women rejected me anyway, so I might as well do something about it myself and stand up for myself. That's oftentimes when you get incel culture that starts to ramp up their level of violent behavior, antisocial behavior in many ways. That's typically the result of incel culture, unfortunately. Let's see here. Av, do you ever see a time when bad booking and no stories will ever catch up with WWE? That's a good question, man. I don't think so, man. It's so they're cashing in hand over fist, man. I mean, before I was like, perhaps if AEW, ratchets it up and starts to beat them in numbers, but I don't see that happening. Who do you think can steal the show at Mania this year? Roberto Rodriguez is asking. Steal the show? I think if they did a tag team ladder match with the Street Profits, the Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly, um, probably Angel and Humberto. Yeah, you can do a tag team type of ladder match. I think that would be a banger match. Zubair, not gonna lie, busy nowadays to join after party. Got to say, one of the reasons why I've been joining because of Marky Ricky Duke needs to control himself. Learn people have different opinions and not be a mark. Well, why don't you join? Why don't you join us today, Zubair? And why don't we have a group therapy session for a little bit on me, since you're a patron, and let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. I appreciate your support, Zubair. I appreciate Ricky's support. Whatever beef y'all got with each other, that's on y'all. But personally, I appreciate both of your support. Robert, not sure if this makes sense at one of overseas house shows. You can say with Solo Sikoa and Gunther versus I think Jay and someone else. Solo gave Gunther someone on Spike, huh? I saw that on social. I saw that on a video. Yeah, I don't understand the logic behind it, but okay. Roberto, courtesy of pro psych like yourself would compare the crowd here in U.S. compared to international crowds. I love when I go to wrestling and PR, thousands people sound like 50,000. PR was fun to watch. A lot of these soccer crowds, man, a lot of these football, or European is football, American is soccer, but a lot of these European crowds and soccer crowds, that's the vibe that a lot of those European crowds have when they go to soccer games. It's a concert feel. It's one of those when it comes to like sports psychology, you have that type of effect where you have like kind of like a universal voice that's making an emphatic statement, and there's strength in numbers when it comes to that a lot. And so a lot of times you're getting that European crowd, even in America, when Americans try to hijack, shows now, making chants and things like that. It gets fun because of the stadium and it's bigger, but when it comes to like arenas and stuff like that, and you're just marks for yourself and really want to hijack crowds, it just kind of loses the element. It kind of loses the traditional feel of pro wrestling when you're really more involved in the characters than you are just putting yourselves over. So I would encourage WWE to scale back on that a little bit. I would love to see Jimmy win the IC US title and Jay win in Mania. They both celebrate Eddie and Chris did in Mania 20. Yeah, I was thinking about Jimmy and Jay winning both championships, but I don't think you should do it. I would like Jimmy winning the US championship, but at the same time, it's like make it mean something. Don't just have him win for the sake of winning. It's just make something out of it. Give it a build. Roberto, instead of rating matches, would you rate storylines and how they're going? Silly, I know. LOL. Man, goodness. There's no storyline that's past the low C right now to me that I can think of. Thoughts on the carrying legacy of George Foreman? I mean, legend. George Foreman, absolute legend, man. Legend. Absolute legend. Let's see here. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Christopher's asking, and Vince Russo won the WWE Championship. That's a must-see WrestleMania. If I win, and then I would go for I would turn heel on Vince and go for the WWE Championship because the Andre the Giant Battle Royal would be insufficient for me. But Russo will win next year's Rumble before he retires. Watching wrestling, you would be the co-winner Rumble as well as 794 Rumble. I'll take it for sure. I'll take it. Let's see here. How do I deal with these marks? I don't know. I mean, look, he's watching me on whoever this guy is. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Here, let me address the. There's people who really want to spend the time. uh, when people make emotionally unstable comments, the the real the real test or the real ability to understand who you are is understand how your reaction either confirms your level of self-worth or it exposes your level of self-worth. Now, when a lot of these people they make comment, well, some people, I mean, one, block them, delete, because there's zero attachment. So blocking and deleting, for me, it's like, okay, well, I don't know you and I don't desire to know you. So blocking or deleting you, it does absolutely nothing for me negatively. It's just saying that I just choose not to have your energy. And then there's also people who there's also people who just are very deranged, um, just very cognitively dysfunctional people, and they're willing to do anything and everything to gather some level of attention. There's 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 a lot of people within the IWC and there's a lot of people within social media world that are absolute attention whores. They're attention whores. And the attention whores are absolutely insecure about themselves. I mean, it is just an absolute sign of insecurity. Because if you think about it from a psychological standpoint, pro wrestling and social media and all that, this is fake. This is make believe. I mean, when it comes to like social media and pro wrestling comments and opinions, I always tell people, like, opinions are like farts. They're loud, they stink, and they go away. I mean, no one ever talks about a fart that they had last week. Oh, remember that time I farted on Tuesday afternoon? What I mean? Like, people don't have those conversations. Like, and so when it comes to like people's opinions, especially when it comes to like the IWC, they're like farts. It's like you don't go back to an opinion about a fart that you had last week. You don't go back and go and have an opinion about what some irrelevant person from the IWC thinks about you. It absolutely means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing to me, man. And a lot of times I giggle and laugh, and I'm like, man, this person needs help. I mean, I'm a therapist. I literally diagnose people every day because I'm aware of people's cognitive level of functionality. And when people are getting to the point that they're willing to make comments about someone who they don't know, you have to interpret that to, how do they handle things in real life? Like, are they married? Did they say this stuff to their wives? If you're this emotionally unstable and unforgiving and just really socially inept, man, I feel sorry for your wife. I feel sorry for, your family. I feel sorry for your friend group. Because if you're using social media to be an outlet of really really expressing or really showing us your true emotional states, either one, you're masking things to your friends and family. I want to do screenshots and pass this over to your supervisor. Like, what I mean? Like, think about it. When you think about, that's the reason why there's no need to engage and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, you have to think about, like, take a screenshot of people who are socially inept and, like, pretend as if you are giving that to their supervisor. Like, would they be proud of that? No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't be proud of it. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like they just sound stupid. They just look stupid. They're clowns. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, take screenshots of comments on Twitter and give it to their wife. You know what I mean? And like, see how their wife will handle it. You know what I mean? Like, and most likely, most likely, the wife would be like, "Dog, why you sound so stupid on social media? Like, is this how you really feel? How do you feel about me? Like, are you telling other people about me?" Those are things that she would probably say to him. And then he'd probably be like, "Babe, you know, I'm just sorry. You know, it's just Twitter. You know, we have fun at Twitter. You know, me and the boys, we have fun at Twitter. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, I can't stand you. Yeah, we have fun at Twitter." You know, so it's like, and she's probably looking at him like, who the bleep did I marry? Like, who was this guy? This guy's deranged. This guy's a lunatic. This guy's emotionally unstable. So that basically speaks for the majority of the IWC. They're probably single. They're probably had many different relationships, and they're probably blaming the other person for the reason why they are single. They're probably blaming the other people who they have previous relationships with. They're blaming them on why they're single. So what do? They cave into this herd of people on social media, and they comment they comment as if they have zero life. They camp on Twitter all day, and they comment, "I can't believe, who are you? Why did you have Drew McIntyre?" And it's like, man, get married. Matter of fact, don't get married because I'd feel sorry for your wife. And so, you know, they're marks, man. They're marks. It comes to the territory. It is what it is. All right, y'all. I think that is it for today. And I'm gonna practice what I'm gonna practice what I preach, actually. Indeed. All right. That being said, I think we are ready to rock and roll. That was fun, man. That was fun. You know what, man? Let me tell you something. I'm a Christian man. But I used to roast people to shreds. And I tell you what, man, everything I do it to the glory of the Lord. That is a motto that I have. I can't admit, I can't say that I'm perfect at that. I'm perfecting. So at the same time, I'm getting much better than I used to be. I used to have anger problems, but man, my faith is made me so serene and peaceful and tranquil and chill. I'm a very chill person. But come on, let's talk. Let's rock and roll. I would absolutely eviscerate you where you stand. But then I got to think about, you know, self-assessments, daily levels of energy. Nah, it's not even worth my time. But every now and again, I have to answer questions when it comes to the IWC, and they need to understand, like, yeah, like, you're weird. Get a life. Stop hanging on Twitter so much. It's a bad look. I hope you're not doing it while you're on the clock, by the way, because I'm going to tell your manager. but with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 676 of the Pancakes and Power Sound. We're about to hang out at the after party for a little bit. Be sure to subscribe, y'all. Be sure to subscribe. I'm a good watch. Thank y'all, man. I appreciate it. Man. Great questions today. This was for it to be just a Q&A session, man. This was great. Got a class next week. It's going to be fun as always. Join me. Follow me on Twitter at Chris Prolific, as you see right there. Go there. Patreon.com/pancakes and power Sams. Show your boys some support, man. I'm doing this after going to work. This is hour number 16 for me on the job. So thank you so much for your support, man. Just less than $1 a week. Support your boy. Pancakes and Power Slams. Patreon. Go and sub there. You get to join us on screen. Ask me any more questions. I actually got a little bit of information more about the Jey Uso scoop that I had that I reported yesterday. I got some more stuff. So that's the type of stuff that you get on Patreon, man. So come join us. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit. Looks like I might have a short little group therapy session to have too. So it's going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen, indeed. Yes, indeed. But wearing red and black next week. Please watch out. Fall life. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So low.